When you think of the Japanese colonial period in Indonesia, most will think of the time they liberated Indonesia from the Dutch, the forced labor that claimed millions of lives, and the stealing of resources for war efforts. While these are surface knowledge stuff, Japan too was involved in Indonesia's history of design, most notably being propaganda media. Hi, we're Group 1, and in today's video, we'll be going over the art that was created during the Japanese colonial period in Indonesia's post-independence, as well as the history behind it. Japan's occupation of the Dutch East Indies was welcomed with open arms and showing support for the imperial army. Well, to maintain these illusions of friendliness, the Japanese military created various propaganda media. One of the key figures who assisted in this project was Takashi Kono, who's known as an advertising expert through cultural approach, and was the cover designer for a magazine called Jawa Baru. While Ono Saseo, who's known for documenting the events during the war, was in charge of creating caricature art. That counted as the very first introduction of Indonesia to graphic and design by the Japanese during their occupation. They made Jawa Baru magazine, a bi-weekly illustrated magazine that intended for all circles in Indonesia. Correct. Jawa Baru magazine was infamous for using graphic design's illustration to work political issues. It was like a propaganda movement to make Indonesians support Japanese in the Asian Pacific War. Though, at the same time, they also made Indonesians aware of the power of graphic design. It was also quite influential in the development of Indonesia graphic designs, since it brought material and technical access as well as new knowledge about graphic design to Indonesians. Jawa Baru's covers use the image of Indonesian people, sometimes participating in Japanese culture, interacting with them, and so on. It's said that they often use a child model to spit out the image of quote-unquote, Japanese are nice, they're educating your child from an early age, as not showing their true intention in Indonesia. Japanese magazines in Indonesia also involved many experts from various creative fields, such as fine arts, literature, photography, illustration, and graphic design. So, Takashi Kono made sure to recruit local creatives for this program to ensure its effectiveness, which were Hendra Gunawan, Agus Jaja, Avandi, Otto Jaja, Sujoyono, Barli, and Rosihan Anwar. After Indonesians became intrigued by the world of graphic design and its impact, the first graphic design exhibition in Indonesia was held in Erasmus Huis, Jakarta. It was named Pameran Rancangan Grafis 80 Hani, Gauri, Didit in the 80s. Indonesians also started forming IPGI, which is a short for Ikatan Perancangan Grafik Indonesia, the first graphic designer organization in the country. Then, IPGI realizes that Indonesia can't compete against other countries because graphic design artists in Indonesia really fall behind in their skill. So, they invited a foreign artist to teach Indonesian artists. The graphic design education is getting better by times, and Indonesia actually started to make use of better professional designers to teach. So, IPGI held a second exhibition after 3 years passed, named Grafis 83, which also marked in the beginning of Taska publishing. Then, after the 1990s, the diversity of Indonesia's graphic design grew rapidly. A whole new magazine with environmentally conscious themes named Icon published in 1994 by Enrico Halim. But the first Indonesian graphic design magazine is yet to be published until 2002, named Blank. Through the power of visual communication, we learned that propaganda media can be a powerful tool to persuade hundreds, even millions, whether it's positive or negative message, like how magazines published by the Japanese military had the ability to gain Indonesia's favor, despite the cruelty that's happening in the background. Us artists need to keep in the mind the influence we have, because an image could present a much clearer message than words. And that's pretty much everything for today's video. Thank you for watching.